Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the It's Pizza Time podcast. I'm your host, iNDiGO. Today, I'm joined by my co-host, Taps.
Hi.
All right, and our very special guest, Lizdek.
What's up, bitch?
Dude, that is
Fuck's up.
that has probably been
Fuck's up,
the
Ted.
most.
Bitch! What the fuck's
Yes.
going on? Bitch!
That has definitely been the most energy ever put into a greeting on this show yet. You know, and I'm all for it.
You already know. I have to do it to him.
That's setting up the tone for the rest of the episode.
Hell yeah.
Nice. All right. So for everybody who doesn't know who or what Lizdek is, would you like to give a brief summary on that?
So I am Nick, known by many as Lizdek, which is also my last name. I will keep stressing that. Lizdek is my last name, and it was just not taken anywhere. And it felt more personal to me to use my last name. So I just used my last name as my alias. So there's that. I am a Canadian electronic artist with a Serbian and Croatian background. So there's a lot of that implemented into my music and my artwork as well. And that's kind of it, yeah. I'm also a visual artist and a photographer, so there's that too.
The man of many talents,
Yes.
Jack of all trades.
jack
As
of all
some
trades.
say.
That's what we like.
Jack of all trades.
That's what we like here on the Pizza Time channel.
Yes, sir. Also a big fan of pizza.
See,
had Domino's yesterday.
that's a good thing to be here. You know,
Or I should have stayed posted up with Domino's or something in here right now and just eating while we're talking. That would have been very appropriate, but no,
that'd be pretty
it just
wild.
didn't
Yeah.
happen.
Okay, but
It would be
like
pretty wild.
on the subject of pizza, we got to ask you the question. You know, the big old like standard pizza time question being, what is your favorite kind of pizza?
Oh, fuck's sake, dude. Don't do this to me. I don't know. It's like, I mean, the easiest answer for me personally is just pepperoni, just because you like can't go wrong. Like if you fuck up a pepperoni pizza, you're dead to me pretty much. So like, fuck it. Like, yeah, every time it's like, what do I get? And I'm sitting there like I don't know what to get. So I'm sitting there like, fuck it, pepperoni pizza. You can't go wrong. So
No, never go wrong. Like
Yeah.
a solid pepperoni, especially when you're drunk. Like just
Yeah.
a nice
Yeah,
warm
especially
pepperoni
that.
pizza is the perfect
Like
thing.
just cheese pizza or pepperoni pizza. It's one of the two when you're drunk. Because at that point, it's like you don't really give a fuck as long as it's food. But pizza is usually the one that you're actually excited to eat. So it's like, it's good drunk food for sure. Domino's specifically as well. Good drunk food for sure.
Mm.
But the worst kind of pizza though, fucking, bro. I've had anchovies on pizza. That shit is disgusting. That shit, ugh. Nope. No.
Oof.
I cannot, no.
We've had people on the show that like anchovies.
Mm-mm.
I'm personally not
Nope.
I'm personally like not super into it. Like I understand, like I guess I understand the appeal. It's just not my thing.
No. And then next to that is probably pineapple. But I can like the difference is that if there's pineapple pizza like on the table, and it's like the only option, I'll still eat it because it's still pizza, and pineapple's not the worst thing in the world to put on pizza. But
Are you telling me that
I'm not gonna go out of my way to
anchovies
get
are
it.
on it? Are you telling me if anchovies are on it, it's not pizza anymore?
I would not like to count it as pizza. Honestly, it's just not. No, nah. Don't even nah. Nope.
Bro, I'm gonna sneak you a pepperoni pizza, and the pepperoni is gonna be made out of anchovies.
Hey, at that point, it's pepperoni. I'm not gonna notice. It's just if it's straight up anchovies, bro. It's like nah.
It's just anchovies sliced into pepperoni bits.
How does that even work? How do you even make that work?
Dude,
I want to know. I
I'll
wanna
find
know
a way.
your-
I'll find a way.
I want to
don't
know
worry.
your secrets, bro.
I'll find
The
a
tricks
way.
of the trade, bro. You need to tell me.
Hey man, you know, obviously I'm a pizza expert here.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's not like you run it. It's not like you run a podcast called the Pizza Time Podcast or anything like
It's
that.
not like I,
And it's not like you've commented it's pizza time with the pizza emoji on like half my shit on Instagram. It's definitely not like that's a thing either.
It's on everything
yeah.
on Instagram.
That's like my entire spiel. Like it
Yeah, actually, that's how I found out about you, because I think it was either Zavi or Skybreak that tweeted this, and they were like,
I think it was
yo,
Bobby.
whoever this
I think it was
person is
Skybreak,
that
yeah.
keeps commenting it's pizza time on all of my Instagram posts, I love you.
But I think
And
both of
then-
them made a tweet actually, which was really
Did they?
cool. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's funny as fuck. But either way, I was looking through the replies of one of them, and your was in there, and I'm like, wait, he runs a podcast? And I look at the podcast, I'm like, wait, so many of my homies are here. Hold up. So I'm sitting there like, wait, I need to get on this like ASAP. So now I'm here.
Well, thank you. You're like the first person to like come to me to ask to be on this show, so it's like that's
That's
pretty
cool as
fun.
fuck, dude. I never get approached for interviews, and I always feel like I have a lot to say. So I'm like,
Yeah.
it's kind of if I have the opportunity to do it, I'll do it.
But yeah, it's like
Your music taste is really good, so you definitely deserve a spot here.
Dude, I try, man. I've been making music for like almost 11 years now. So it's like if my music taste isn't wide, there's kind of something wrong there. Listening to the same kind of music for 11 years just doesn't feel right to me. I always have to switch shit up. So
That's
even like
fair.
really weird, like out of pocket, like shit outside of electronic music as well. Like
Yeah.
like grimecore and like just crazy like experimental metal shit. And
Mhm.
that kind of thing, that's always been my vibe.
That shit's fire.
Yeah,
for sure.
fucking. I mean, like, yeah, I've been listening to electronic music since I was like 9 years old, so like for over a decade at this point.
That's when I started. I'm 19 now. So
Yeah, Sam.
I
Let's
started
go,
when I was
19
9,
gang. Look
Let's
at
go.
look at this old fuck living for 2 decades. Look at him.
21 years of age. I can legally drink, and you can't, but you can probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Canada's
Canadian.
19.
Yes,
Unfortunate.
I'm legal everywhere. In Alberta, it's 18, I think. I could be wrong, but I think in Alberta it's 18. And Alberta's right next to me. So last year, I could have, like, technically just gone to Alberta and drank there legally in a bar, and it would have been fine.
That's a vibe.
But I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a vibe.
Fucking yeah, it's like I get what you mean by like the fucking music taste that you need to diversify it a bit, because like I've been listening to like electronic for like 10 years now, and
Yeah.
while it is still like my favorite genre, I guess, like while it's like I guess the place where I call my home, for example, like I'll always find myself like going out of electronic every once in a while. I mean, like recently I've been listening to like a lot of like classical music.
That's
Let's
one.
go.
That's one I've never really dove into.
It's
really
like
at all.
mainly like OSTs for like
Mhm.
for different shows
Oh, that's
or games
different.
or something like that.
Yeah.
But
That's
specifically
different.
classical
That's
OSTs.
like part
It's
of the
own-
culture. That's part of the culture almost.
Yeah.
Is to just have OSTs running, right? Like anime OSTs, especially for me at least. That's just
Mhm.
Bro, I've
That's
been
just
listening to the fucking
Yeah.
Violet Evergarden OST.
Yes.
that's
Oh my
fire.
God.
That is fire.
It's
That's
so
so
well written.
Good,
I,
dude.
as the,
Forgot
I'm
about
a
that.
film scoring student, and so like I have a different perspective looking at those kinds of things. And it's just if an OST is well made, especially in context with like the show or movie or game or whatever, it's just like it's always like inspiration I take. Like
Oh yeah.
fucking God, what's his name? Johan Sudekvist, so the guy that wrote the score for Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5.
Oh, word.
Fucking awesome.
I didn't
So good.
know. I didn't know who wrote that. That was actually one of my favorites for a
Yeah,
while.
he's a Norwegian guy. I
Shout
think.
out to him. I'm gonna have to stop
That
sleeping on him.
name
for
sounds
sure.
familiar. Did he like I feel like he was nominated for like a Grammy or something this year or the year before. I don't remember when.
Something like that. I don't know. I haven't kept up with it.
But was he
mean,
though? Like, do you know for sure if he was?
I
I
don't
could
know for
probably
sure.
look
The
it
name
up.
sounds familiar, but like I might have read it, but like I just based on your pronunciation, I could be completely wrong.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's Swedish. Okay.
Okay, well then
Um,
probably not. I would have probably known about that.
what's what's his IMDb? None of these movies I know. Oh, he
Okay.
did Law and Order. Oh fuck.
Yeah,
Did
Pro.
he?
that's
He
huge.
Wait, no, he didn't. He
Oh damn.
did Battlefield 5, Battlefield 1, all the whole Battlefield 1 score. A lot of these are European films. Uh,
who'd have thought?
Jeez, I don't know. And Blood. He did Blood Brothers. What? Okay. And Brothers.
All right. Well, I guess we could.
I forgot about
He's
all
a
of these things until you brought them up. I have not heard the name Blood Brothers in ages. You just unlocked a memory from my brain, for real, dude. Speaking of OSCs and whatnot,
mm,
Bendel, one of my really good friends, one of my best friends actually, extra slept on and is also moving in that sort of direction and has been for a while. Dude's really good with that kind of thing, and he's one of the only people really mixing it with electronic the way he does. So shout out to him, for real. I don't know if y'all have heard of him or not, but
oh yeah,
he's super dope.
I've heard some of his shit before. I fucking it was his remix of like "It's Just You," I believe. Was like one of
Yeah,
the things I
yeah,
heard recently. That one was pretty crazy. It was very loud,
yeah. Very loud.
very
That's
loud.
the that's a Bendel staple. Is just loud mixing, loud mastering. That's just regular for
Have
him.
you thought about going into like the game, movie, TV shows sphere at
Yeah,
all?
except the problem is I don't know where to go to like contact people necessarily, but I really would want to do it. I think it's just a matter of like it's easier for me to build a personal connection with someone before doing business with them, than to just email someone and then have that be done and dealt with, and then that's that. Like I would rather like actually talk to the person, let them know like I'm actually trying to do more, like basically I'm mixing business with pleasure, which is not like a necessarily a good thing to do in many cases, but I tend to do it, and it's
Yeah,
worked out for me in the long run. So
I mean it's like
yeah, that's
you.
that's the only thing really
Yeah,
that's keeping me from doing that.
like I feel like if you have, I guess, already a connection established when you're going into like, it's like one thing if you're like going into like like going into business like with your best friend or something, but it's like if
Yeah.
you at least want to like have a connection like at least like established a little bit,
Hmm.
I'd say, and that like set like kind of sets you up for everything else,
Hmm.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. And then you get to know what the other person is genuinely like has a genuine interest in, so you can try to follow that as much as possible, and
Yeah,
like just so that you're not just shitting out something that you would normally shit out for a project,
yeah,
and like they don't necessarily think it fits their narrative. So you want to kind of do a mix of both so that it falls in line with you and it falls in line with them as well. And a lot of people don't really do that. A lot of people are just kind of stuck in their own ways, which I think is wrong, especially in a electronic community where a lot of things are supposed to be, considered open-minded and whatnot. I don't know. It's just a weird, like a hypocritical thing almost
mm,
to
Hmm.
just not have that kind of dynamic for you. But to each their own, I guess.
yeah. It's always like interesting to see like how people kind of have like how like I guess certain people in the industry have like mindsets that are I guess are a little bit like archaic, so to speak, especially like
Yeah,
with this genre that is like very new and is always like, I'd say is like at the forefront of change, at least in the
yeah.
music industry. So
The
Yeah.
it's
fact
like,
that
yeah,
it's been around for not that long at all, but yet that's why I fell in love with electronic music in the first place. Because every other um genre of music didn't really have many different avenues you could go into, as in like there weren't many subgenres or different people doing different things trying to move the genre forward. But electronic, as I was going into it back in like 2010, when it wasn't even as established as it is and as saturated as it is now, I was finding like a whole bunch of different shit only like 6 months into listening to this shit. I'm like, dude, how much more is there and how much more could there possibly be done? And
Yeah.
then 10 years went by and there's electronic music went through like 10 different phases in that time. Like they
Oh
go through like
yeah.
a phase a year. It's fucking insane.
It's
Mhm.
yeah. It's like it's always like shocking to me whenever I'm like talking to I guess somebody who's not very like like who doesn't know anything about like electronic music, and I'll be like. And they'll be like, you're dubstep. It's like, so you're talking like Skrillex, Scary Monsters, Nice Sprites, and I'm like, man, dubstep has evolved so far past that. Like, it is.
That's like kind of the only problem with electronic music is like it evolves so quickly and so much. There's always something new along with
Mhm.
something that's still evolving that it's hard for other people, like especially in the mainstream, to keep up with it. That's
Yeah.
why everyone in the mainstream is like, yeah, dubstep is dead, whatever, blah blah blah, yada yada.
Oh yeah.
But it's not in reality.
It's
It's
not.
just hard for them to, pick up the pace pretty much.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah. Like I saw like fucking like a dude
Wait, 1 second. I'm being called again. 1 second.
oh shit. We'll cut this
Oh
out.
shit. Yeah, editing. The power of editing.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit here eating my goldfish.
Just gonna sit here, sipping on my coffee.
Should we just leave this in?
Mm.
Should we just leave this in? Just
I
like,
heard that. I heard that. You should totally leave it in.
should we just leave it in?
You should totally leave it in.
All right.
Dude, oh my god. This year has been a big learning curve for me because I'm not a tradesman at all. But my dad always needs help and my neighbor always needs help with trades related shit. Like I've been painting with my dad for the last like few months now. It's a pain in the ass and it sucks ass, but it's a good moneymaker, I guess.
Mhm.
If this shit doesn't work out, so
Mm.
it's cool.
It's a good
So
way to
that's-
supplement.
Yeah, that's what
you're
he keeps calling me up for. So, yeah. Not to mention, I still live with my parents. So,
doing. Nothing wrong with that. Saving
Nothing
money,
wrong
dude.
with it. Yeah.
Instead of paying rent, you can buy equipment and samples and VSTs.
that's the funny thing is my dad's actually like buying me all the equipment and shit.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm literally insisting like no, like you can do it myself, but he just insists like no, I want you to move forward with this. So it's like
That's
You know
wholesome
what?
as fuck.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking.
no, shout out to my parents for real. I wouldn't be where I am without my parents. Shout out to my parents. Awesome.
Yeah, shout out Lizdek's parents.
Yes. Shout out Lizdek's parents.
Hell yeah.
Can we get a shout out Lizdek's parents?
Shout
in the
out Mr. and
comments?
Mrs. Lizdek.
Yeah, everyone shout out I'm gonna show my parents this video. So please shout out my parents in the comments.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. and
I
Mrs.
wouldn't be
Lizdek.
I wouldn't be in this call. I wouldn't be where I am at all without them. So shout them out for real.
All right. Let's go.
Comments.
What were we talking about before that?
We were talking about
Right.
genres and
Yeah,
EDM.
and like evolving.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
supplement like
Yeah.
how much EDM has evolved over time. Like I've only recently discovered so many different subgenres due to just like my involvement with like DJs and stuff. Like I've been introduced to hardcore, happy hardcore, J-pop, J-core, breakcore IDM,
Man, you like
jungle,
chorus.
like all this shit. And I'm just like, it's such a huge world. Like I've heard other people describe EDM in a way where it's like the only thing that felt as like open-ended and as free as like instrumental like classical music. And that hits so hard now. It's just like it's the only thing that's just like there's no rules. You can just do whatever, and it's beautiful.
It's a different world entirely though, because with classical music, it's melodically focused.
Mm-hmm.
But electronic music is like almost more well-rounded in the sense where it can also be melodically focused, but it's also very like it's a more technically advanced genre. I haven't heard like as soon as electronic music started popping off over the last decade or whatever, I saw a bunch of artists from other genres, actual physical mixing and mastering quality go up because electronic music is like one of the harder things to, perfect. Whereas rock music and stuff like classical music and whatnot, in terms of like from a technical standpoint, it's a lot easier to actually execute.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
because you're just like with I guess when you're like working with a band, you're now like just worried about like the just the instruments and like the vocalists, I guess, and then that's
Yeah,
pretty much all you gotta like work on like mastering and stuff like that. But like
yeah,
some electronic artists, like if you've seen some projects, they can have like 200 to 300 fucking tracks, like different
yeah.
like things involved, and that's just
And the
fucking.
amount of work I've seen artists put into literally like one 4 bar section of a song is fucking ridiculous to me, even.
Oh
Like, it
yeah,
Hmm.
doesn't make sense to me at all. As someone who shits out music like on a daily basis, I just don't understand that at all. And my shit hits like 20 to 30 tracks, like max, pretty much in a song. So
Hmm.
it's like the to see the artists with like 200 track long projects is just insane to me for some reason.
It's inspiring.
yeah, it's nuts.
It is, yeah. But I mean, it's also inspiring to see someone find a more efficient way to do it, which I think I've done.
That too.
Yeah,
Oh
because
yeah,
I don't do much. Like I keep shit as simple as possible because I just want to like finish the song.
Hmm.
Realistically, I don't want to sit there and like nitpick everything because at the end of the day, aside from producers, no one's gonna give a flying fuck about the tiny little nitpicky shit. So I'm sitting there like, okay, let's just boom, 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 get this done. Like that's kind of how my mentality is, and I've ever since then realized, damn, I should start doing this in like life in general. Just boom, 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 get the shit done, and so that's helped me a lot, just as a whole as well. So
What
I,
is
yeah.
what's
huh?
your process when you normally go into like making a song, or like how do you normally like kind of get into that kind of headspace? You know.
Dude, it's honestly like I at first I have no direction. It's when something cool comes up that I start building a whole. It's usually not necessarily a story, but I find a way to implement a story into what I'm making once the idea is like already off the ground. So I don't go in with a plan because if that plan doesn't go according to plan, I'm fucked and I'm like, oh, this sucks,
Oh
yada
yeah,
yada, and then I get in a rut, right? But
Hmm.
yeah,
if I'm just going in there on the fly and something cool comes up, then it's like I'll keep going and eventually some kind of meaning will, uh, you know, show itself up to me.
yeah,
And if I'm not in the mood to make music or making music doesn't end up working out, I just work on visuals. I edit videos. I do mixing and mastering commissions for other people, like mainly close homies, but like for other people, it's an open thing that I keep on the down low. Um, and like I go out, take photos with some homies and shit for their Instagram feeds so that they look fuego fire and shit. Like I'm about that. Like I'm about that kind of shit. So
yeah,
I have a bunch of other shit to go to if one thing doesn't work out. And if one of
Hmm.
those other things doesn't work out, I go back to music or one of the other things.
yeah,
So it's like I'm always doing something.
That's really important, especially right now,
yeah.
because like with COVID, everything kind of seems so stagnant. So like if you're constantly busy working on something, that's just like so important.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. That's a good thing to do. Also, like when
I
you,
think it's a good thing to say that I've been more overworked during the pandemic than I have been for like the rest of my life. Because if you're saying that in the middle of a pandemic, you're doing something right
yeah, that's
for sure.
vibe. That's dope. Fucking, yeah, it's like I don't think of, because it's like otherwise you get stuck in no place. Like I mean, I feel like I'm both the busiest I've ever been, but also like I have like the most time that I ever have had, which is like really it's like I'm both, you know, I feel like I'm not doing enough, but I feel like I'm also like pushing myself too much at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, which is like
Yeah,
a really weird place to be.
it is. Yeah, I mean, I guess it comes down to perspective because a lot of times what people like some people's definition of working hard is kind of skewed, mainly due to social media, I think,
Mm-hmm.
because there's this notion that like whatever people post on like their stories and shit is like the only thing they have going on, meaning like the only thing they have going on is good almost because they like to flex and shit. But like that's not always the case,
Yeah,
right?
like
Like
the fucking yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on in people's lives besides like what they post, right? I'm not gonna fucking take a like a and put on my fucking Instagram story like, hey, I cried in the shower today.
yeah,
Fucking and like I
that's
need to
the
go to
type
the
of shit
store.
that other
I'm out of
people.
cereal or shit like
I'm
that.
not
You know?
gonna lie. That's the kind of shit that you post on your story to make other people, go, "Hey, my life's not that bad." So it's like, I guess it could go one or the other. I don't know. It's either you're looking at someone's story and you're going, "Oh shit, like I'm not doing bad. This is fire. I'm not crying in the shower. This shit's
Mm-hmm.
dope." Or you're or you're or you're looking at someone doing something fun, like I don't know, going for a hike or some shit, and they like post a picture of the view around them, and you're like, "Bruh,
All right.
I'm too lazy to do that. I
Yeah.
suck.
Well,
I'm I'm gonna I'm gonna cry in front of my screen for the rest of the day instead of actually going to it."
yeah. I guess what
That's
I could say is like,
yeah,
there's not a lot of people that are just like posting like their mundane actions on online. At least like it's like, yeah, I add a cereal, gotta go to the store. But
that's the
then
kind of shit
there's
I
just
would do.
like
I'm not gonna lie.
yeah,
I'm on a break right now, but when I'm back, that's usually the kind of shit that I'd be posting. Like
yeah,
when I'm
you know how
it's
people
like,
post like
damn,
entire concerts like under on their fucking stories. Just like post your
yeah,
entire trip to the store. Like and just going to buy cereal like every single like minute. Like
yeah.
take like a
That would
fucking
be
picture.
a really good TikTok series. Just like, like no, like seriously, hear me out, right? So you have a TikTok series and it's just doing mundane things on TikTok, going to the store to buy bread, like.
God, I hate how much of a genius I can be sometimes. It sucks.
Given all three of us ideas, we should all just do that.
Bro,
We
I'm
should
gonna
all
go buy
just go to the
cereal.
store, buy some fucking fruity pebbles, and then walk out the store and
Cereal
film it all.
vlog. Let's go.
Cereal vlog.
Cereal
Buying
vlog.
buying buying every kind of cereal, but like one type of cereal each day. So every single day, you post a minute-long video of you going into the store, buying a different kind of cereal until you've run out of cereals to buy.
You can eat an entire box of cereal in a day. That's impressive.
Wait, whoa, hold on. Hold on. I don't know. Even the family got a whole fucking
Family
box
size
of
just for
family
me.
sized mini wheats to yourself, bro. Dry. No
How
milk.
how bored do you have to be to watch and then go through someone's entire like catalog of TikToks just watching people buy cereal? How bored would you have to be? But I know
Dude,
people would do it. People would do it.
yeah,
That's
like
the funny thing about it. I don't know. I don't know. People are fucking stupid. I don't know.
I mean,
I
I
don't
feel
know.
like people spend like maybe 3 times as long on TikTok than they think they do. Like at least that much
Oh yeah.
more. I mean, I feel like that's just the case with like all, you know, social medias and stuff like that. It's like you just
But
spend a
no, it's
lot more
like
time than you think.
it's even more valid with TikTok though, because with TikTok, it's like even people who don't really go on TikTok that much, I've heard them tell me personally that it's like, okay, when I do go on TikTok, I'm on there for like 3 to 4 hours at a time, and I don't even realize it until like I look at the time and I'm like, damn, I've been scrolling through TikTok for 4 hours. What the fuck is wrong with me? Like, get me off this fucking app.
Dude, I
And
haven't
that's
used TikTok once, bro. I'm still, you know, still vibing.
I've
You've
used
saved
it a
yourself
couple.
many
I'm
I've used it
hours.
a
still a
couple times.
TikTok virgin over here.
What's weird about TikToks is it takes a while for you to actually start seeing your kind of humor on TikTok and your kind of content, because like you have to be scrolling through TikTok a lot to find like one or two things that you're really that you find funny or you find entertaining.
Yeah.
But the way the TikTok algorithm works is like once you find that, like once you find those 1, 2, 3, 4 videos that you really find funny or whatever, TikTok's gonna keep showing you that kind of shit. So then you keep, getting the content you want to see on TikTok, and you don't end up getting bored just
Mhm.
watching the same fucking 10 people with 3
Yeah.
mil followers doing the same dumb shit.
Mhm.
Like but I still, that being said, even then, like even with that kind of my kind of humor being on my feed all the time, I don't go on TikTok that much because it just doesn't really interest me. It's like the same five
Yeah.
things over and over
Yeah,
again.
me too.
Bro, imagine trying to explain TikTok to somebody from like the 1950s.
Oh God.
Like imagine trying to
Imagine
like
trying to
explain that
explain
concept.
Imagine trying to explain the 2010s as a whole to someone from the 1950s. I just that's just a mess that I don't really want to even think
Like
about,
just
to
go
be
back to
honest.
like the 80s where they were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to have like flying cars and hoverboards and shit." And we're just going to be like,
And we have
"We
people
got
eating Tide
TikTok."
Pods.
We have eating Tide Pods.
Well, if people eating dish detergent for a challenge.
For fuck's sake. I forgot that existed too. What are y'all doing to me, man?
Dude.
Fuck you.
Honestly, kind of like pull back a little when you said talking about like how a lot of times people don't see what true hard work really is. The way to kind of see that is, you said perspective. Take a look at where you were when the lockdown started until now, and just see how far you've gone in this 1 year, despite not being able to do shit.
All right.
But
Yeah.
in reality,
Yeah.
you're really
Yeah.
completely improving yourself
I mean,
in ways you never even
just
thought.
because you're on lockdown, it doesn't prevent you from like
Yeah.
finding a way to, you know, earn money or finding a way to make time for your hobbies while still, keeping a roof above your head. Like my dad has like barely taken a break since the pandemic started. He's always doing something because, he doesn't have the pleasure of seeing people all the time, even though, sometimes he does. Just because at the end of the day, both my dad's friend group and my friend group are all people that like work for themselves pretty much and aren't working in like a public place. So it's like they're seeing the same person over and over and over again. So there's no way in hell that they're going to be exposed to any of that. So we see them often. But like when it comes to just like acquaintances and shit like that you just have fun with or you get fucked up with like once a month type thing, you don't have the pleasure of seeing them anymore. You don't have the pleasure of getting fucked up in like a big ass house party or whatever the fuck. So it's like it's easier to just focus on like shit that's not gonna waste your time. Like in my case, that's music and art as a whole. So I don't know. It's like, but a lot of people. That being said, a lot of people don't actually understand like what the premise of hard work necessarily is because a lot of people will just kind of like focus on one thing for an hour and be like, oh, that's it, instead of
Mhm.
like powering through it and just doing it until it's done. Like a lot of people
Mhm.
are just kind of like they do it until they don't feel like it and then that's it. That's
Yeah,
not the mentality you should necessarily have.
the hard part is to keep that fire going.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of times, like when I start a track, I have this like inspirational fire, but when that inspirational fire runs out, and you don't want to work on the song anymore, you got to kind of push yourself. It's like, no, I got to make this side chain. I got to do this mixing, put these EQs on, and so on and so forth, and keep working on it.
Yeah,
And that's what sets people apart from
yeah.
everyone else. So
That's
people
why
don't.
I feel like I keep telling people there's a lot of people that are categorized where like as in the same spot that I am in terms of like where they are in their career. Like I'll name a few people: Bendel, Darby, Etler, fucking who else? I'll name a few more. Mr. Skybreak 360. There's a bunch of these people that are like that they are where I'm at in my career now in terms of like skill level and whatnot, but they don't put the amount of work in that I do. I'm not. This is not me calling them out for that, but it just kind of is what it is. And I've talked to them about it, and I'm sitting there like, yo, if y'all like, because they're putting in effort, but they're not like going balls to the walls with all the shit necessarily. So I've been telling them for a long time, if y'all put in like, if y'all basically put in like 9 to 5 work hours into your music kind of thing, you would be double where I am right now, where we are as a whole right now. And I think like I've kind of drilled it into a lot of people's heads, especially my friends, that it's like, yo, if you're actually like sitting here in front of your screen, not taking no fucking breaks, not going on your phone, in fact going airplane mode on everything and just working on your shit, like it'll come back to you eventually and you'll see results, especially if you have the talent that a lot of these artists do that they just choose not to utilize. So I feel like that's something a lot of people should stand by, is just like treating it like a job, but not treating it like a job at the same time, because it's what you love to do. If it's what you love to do, you treating it like a job should be like a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like someone I know that does that a lot is Muzz. Whenever Muzz is working on music, he just poofs, disappears.
Yeah.
Like there's a while where we just couldn't see him for like a fat fucking minute, like a couple weeks, because he was just fucking grinding out on music and other stuff. And that man's works so hard, but the work comes out in the music.
Yeah,
like it's next level shit.
That's how it should be always. Like I've had the same thing with Joss Lockwood. I don't know if y'all know her, but she's a really good friend of mine. She's sang on a bunch of my shit. I've had that thing with her specifically because we were working on a bunch of shit, and I'll just disappear for like a few days just because I'm working on other shit. And I'm trying to like make sure that like everything I'm working on is solid. So I just won't talk to people for like a few days, but she'll be constantly hitting me up like, "Yo, where you at? Like, let's do some shit." But I'm sitting there doing my own thing as well, so
Yeah.
it's kind of the same deal.
Yeah. I feel
I need to do that more often. I'm
Yeah.
kind of lacking in the whole like sitting down and just grinding shit out department.
yeah.
It's like an issue I
I
have.
feel like a lot of people like want to be able to do that, at least more frequently. But I feel like there's also some people are probably scared of the fact that like they don't want to, I guess, experience like burnout. Because like even if it's something that you really like, right? Eventually, like you got to be pushing yourself like to be doing it too much, right? And you need a break. Like
Yeah.
regardless of what it is, like there's gonna be a point where it's like, oh yeah, I can't do this like for a minute. I feel like that's like probably something that's very scary about it. You know?
Oh, a thing with being an artist just as a whole is like um if it's not like there's two very common cases that I've seen. It's either a musician is working a 9 to 5 job at like I don't know, they're like doing carpentry or like construction or some shit, and their whole thing is they go home and they make music so that they don't have to worry about being burnt out, so they don't push that as hard, or they're just like that as people and they just don't want to actually fully put their mind to it.
Mm.
It's a scary
So
thing.
it is a scary thing, but a lot of like it's kind of weird because a lot of artists are just naturally like that,
Yeah.
and
I
Mhm.
mean,
for them it's hard to actually put in the hours, put in the work.
it must be like
um
Yeah.
it must be really scary like if you're doing like the whole you're working a job and then like music you're kind of doing as like your escape from that job and then like transitioning from that to doing music like full time. Like that must be
yeah
a very scary transition, right? Because now music was your escape and now like you like if you ever like, get bored doing your job or get like exhausted from music industry, you don't have like an escape anymore, right? Or you need to find
yeah but
another
then again
escape.
it's like but then it's like a lot of it's different for me. I see things differently than a lot of people in the music industry as a whole. Um, like where I stand with it, it's like, dude, it's if it's your escape, you should have no problem doing it for hours on end and like just constantly like
Yeah.
putting in the effort to, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
get a reward out of it, right? Like
Yeah.
it
I'm
just
like,
doesn't make sense to me. It's like, okay, I've been there before where it's like I've worked like 12 hours and it's like, I don't
yeah.
want to fucking put effort into music, whatever. I just want to chill on Discord with people or whatever. But it's like you just keep reminding yourself, it's like this is what I love to do. So it's like you should be able to put that effort in.
Mm.
One thing, like when people ask me or like tell me, like, "Yo, I wanna do music," like, what do I do? And I pretty much every time I say, "Fucking dive head first, balls deep." If it's something you enjoy doing, it's what you should do. It's just fucking put everything into it. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But at the end of the day, you applied yourself into doing something, and you put yourself out there in a way that you've never done before, and you're gonna grow from that regardless.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how a lot of people see college and university as well. Like it's been depicted to me. It's like, um,
The shit.
realistically, college, whatever, whatever you're going to college for, you being in college is literally just an incentive to do it. Like, because if you're in college, you have to get shit done. But when you're doing it on your own, you're kind of like just going based off of your own, like like what you say goes. Because if you're working for yourself, that's how it is. So, like, if you're going to college for music, which also I think is kind of stupid in my personal opinion, it's stupid. If you're in my position at least, but um, for a lot of people, they need that incentive, so they go to college for it. Whereas I don't think I necessarily need that incentive because I work hard. I work hard on my shit. I don't
Mm.
need nobody to give me fucking homework on what I already know how to do. So that's just kind of my 2 cents on the whole going to college thing. But
Yeah.
some people need it though.
I feel like
Like
some
I don't.
people. I feel like a lot of people go to college or go to college like for music stuff because they're like they want I guess the way to be able to like get connections like through that at the like graduate like knowing people and whatnot, which is like I guess it's like in the end it's also like that also is like a reflection I guess of like how hard you try to like go out of your way to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's like it's like this is coming from a guy who like doesn't really make music and also fucking has never been to school for music. Like I just talk to people and then occasionally annoy the shit out of them. And here I am with like a like I can talk to people. It's like, they're not I guess people like if you want connections, like you gotta like stop thinking of it as like it's not really a tool. It's like they're just people. Just like go out and talk
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah.
Just like
I
vibe.
can speak from my own
Yeah.
perspective of being a music student in college. When I went into getting this degree, I didn't know exactly like what I wanted to do. I wanted all I knew was that like, oh, I'm gonna go learn how to write music for film and games and stuff. And like granted, a lot of the things I've learned I've been able to apply to my electronic stuff, but over time, especially during the pandemic, I realized that like I didn't want to do like concert composition, even though I now know how to do it. But I wanted to do, electronic music, and this is what I wanted. And I made my professors aware of that. I'm like, look, I want to do this. This is what I want to do, and they've kind of like supplemented that. But it kind of like allowed me to kind of realize what I wanted to do. But having that push really allowed me to do it. I don't think I would have found it without that push.
I was I was lucky enough to just have it spark for
Yeah.
me, like the love for electronic music. Just kind of sit there, like, wow, this is something I've never thought was possible. I want to know how to do this, and so I started doing it. And like that's the only really incentive I needed. I just kept going, and 10 years, almost 11 years later, here we are. Like
Fuck yeah.
it's it's been a crazy ride, and I don't think a lot of people can say they've done the amount of shit that I have at my age, which is I think a good. I can stun on some people, but it's like at the end of the
Mhm.
day, just what I love to do. I don't see a reason to,
Yeah.
kind of push
We're
it on.
doing some wild ass shit.
I'm trying, man. I really am.
This became a really existential episode.
Well, like I feel like that's probably why we love it so much, is because there is nothing stopping us from doing crazy ass wild shit due to age or location or life experience. We're doing this crazy shit like fucking more kismet on the needle drop at age what, 16,
17, yeah, almost
17?
18.
16,
Yeah,
I
They're
think.
they've
Yeah.
been killing it for
they've
so
been destroying
long.
it. Yeah, that's the one thing about music. There is no boundaries besides yourself.
You could also be fucking in your late 30s and still like
Do it. Yeah.
make it's just about like how you manage your time at that point, because
Yeah.
when you're in your late 30s, the likelihood is that you have a family of your own and you have your own shit to worry about, so that's not necessarily your priority. But if you can find the time to manage that, which is it's really it's really weird saying this being 19, not even knowing what the fuck having kids and a family feels like, but fuck it, still it's like I've seen people go down certain routes and either like make it or fail at what they're trying to do. So it's just a matter of time management. I've seen it with my own family. It's been ups and downs
Yeah.
for my whole life. So it's easy to just it's easier to just give it a shot as opposed to just asking what if. When you start asking what if, then it starts to be like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe I'm not doing enough. But regardless though, like I've told this to people who are like in their like approaching their later 20s, like Grim, the owner of a new label that's coming out called Sleepy Hollows. He just played Equity Fest, the show we did like last week. The one that Etler played at as well, that you guys might have watched. He's 27, I believe. And he's like, "Oh, I'm too old for this shit. Like I need to like figure out something else." I'm like, "Dude, it's music. There's no rule to how old you have to be in the music industry.
Yeah, dog.
So it's just keep fucking going. When your time comes, your time will come. If the time doesn't come at all and it ends up not being what it is, at least you gave it a shot. Like,
Yeah.
don't knock it till you try it, pretty much."
As long as you put in the time, like for example, I think there's a TikTok Odd Profit put out where he was just asking DJs how long it took them to get their first like major label signing, and the average was about 4 or 5 years of just putting in the time. And
Yeah, well, it's a different journey for everyone. You can't necessarily say that like there's no formula. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you're gonna make it in 5 years if you do this, this, and that. It's like, no, everyone has their own journey. It's art. You can't put in a formula. You can't put in rules for art. That's also why I think going to college for any kind of art is stupid, because there's no rules. Even if you're doing film scoring, there isn't necessarily any rules beyond like certain melodic structures, because that obviously has a formula. But
yeah,
the actual process itself, it's not vital, because everyone has their own. So it's
you can learn all the techniques, but if you don't have the spark, it's still going to be shit.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's that on that subject for me though. It's all a matter of like putting in the time, getting out of your own head, and utilizing everything to the best of your ability. That's just kind of what I've learned over the last like decade and a bit of making music myself. I don't know how well it would work for other people, but it's just kind of a simple solution to at least give a shot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
So is there anyone? Oh,
No,
go ahead.
you go first.
Saying like, if there's anybody that listens to the podcast that just wants to get into making music or just really anything in general, I feel like take all of this and utilize it. And
Just like go for it. I get like a lot of people whenever like I say like I'm into this kind of music or whatever. It's like, or like I talk to them about like something that I'm like trying to work on musically, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I could never do that." And I'm like, "Fucking, of course you can. It's never too late to like learn to learn anything music related, and especially like with electronic music, it's like, there's a lot of great producers out there that know nothing about music theory, and
Yep.
they still like are, incredibly talented. It's not like it's
Mhm.
something you can learn. It's not something that like you're not born with it, right?
A lot of artists go by ear.
Yeah, it's
They
fucking
don't. It doesn't have to. Well, it doesn't have to be on paper
right. Yeah,
for them to know what they're doing necessarily.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, like music is, it's something supposed to be like perceived auditorily, right? So it's fucking. You don't need to know how to write it or what it looks like. You just need to know it's like, oh, this sounds good. Let me do that. That's like
Mhm.
Yeah.
literally the point.
And find a group of people that shares the same kind of passion that you do for anything: art, music, video making,
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
photography.
That is
And
something I've stood by forever. Surround yourself with the people that are on your wavelength, because you don't want to be surrounded by people who are very cynical and just kind of downers. Like, you don't want that kind of energy around you. You always want to make sure the people that are around you are constantly, like, yo, let's fucking do this. We're gonna. It's not even a matter of, oh, we're gonna get shit done today. It's like, oh, we're gonna fucking like we're gonna make some cool ass shit and we're gonna fuck with it. Like, that's the kind of energy I've always surrounded myself with, and because of that, I've become a better person just as a whole. Because
Mhm.
it's like, if I was surrounding myself with people that are just like very, I don't even know how to really describe it aside from them being downers. If I was surrounding myself with those kind of people that are just kind of like, oh, I'm shit, like, I haven't been making what I want to make. I can't do anything about it. Yada yada. It's like, you can do something about it.
Mhm.
Just fucking just put in the time, right?
yeah,
Like,
Find a group of people to grow with.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Omen was one of the first people I met that was into the same kind of music that I was on Discord. He taught me pretty much all the basics of like producing and all that stuff, and we've grown a lot together. Like that's just one example, and I'm sure like you can say a lot about your friends that you've been able to like
Oh
make
yeah,
music with and just hang out with, and not. I mean, you grow as musicians, but you also grow as people, and
I have a very unique friend group because a lot of them were at the stage of like, being very like very down about what they do. So I've gone out of my way because of the potential that I see in all my friends. I've gone out of my way to push them to do better and think more positively about what they do. But then there's other people. There's like people like Etler, who are just energetic as a whole, and they're always doing something different. They always want to push the boundaries. They want to push their own boundaries that they've set for themselves. Um, Especially him. He's For the last like 2 years that I've known him, he's always been a very energetic human being and someone very fun to be around.
I fucking
And
love
that
that.
Etler's so sick. He's been but fuck, dude. He's been slept on for way too long. I've seen this man grow from fucking like it was crazy how it came out because he always had the same style, but just improved his craft over the years. It was a really fun one to watch because he was always hyped about every little tiny step that he made.
Mhm.
He's gonna go far, I hope at least.
Oh yeah, the stuff I've heard him putting out, like he sent me some whips a while back, and I'm just sitting there like
Yeah,
just mouth agape. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? This is nuts.
there's a lot of shit that he still needs to work on in terms of like technical shit, but I'm like the how he lays out his music is very different, and I think once he nails it, it's gonna go the fuck off for
It's gonna
sure.
pop off
Yeah,
100%.
it better at least. Indigo's been silent for a while. How you doing, bro?
yeah. I've just been listening. There's nothing like I've needed to
Yeah.
say. Like fucking, you guys are going off. Fucking, go
Yeah.
at it.
What do you like with your friend groups like Indigo? Like, how have you kind of like found those like people that push you to do what you are passionate about? Like, yeah, what do you think about it?
That's a good question because it's like I feel, a lot of my friend groups they're not necessarily. I wouldn't say they're like pushing me. It's like it's more so like I just kind of end up finding like what I need to push myself like through them, if that makes sense. It's yeah, it's not very much like it's not very much like they're like, oh shit, like you could make this and it'll be really cool. It's more like they say something, I'm like, oh, you know what, that's a good idea, and I'll do it.
I see
Um,
that as friendly competition, because it's like, oh, because it's like, oh, my homies, like, I'm a very honest human being. I'll tell my homies if something they're doing sucks ass, and if I
oh
can do
yeah,
it better. So I'm like, I'm sitting there, even in my own head, even if I'm not like vocal about it, I'm sitting there like, damn, they're really not doing this that well. I can do it better, and then I open FL and end up doing it better. And
mm,
it's just, it's a thing to push myself. Um, and it's also like, when I find that out, I try not, instead of just like keeping it to myself and just flexing like, oh, I'm better than you. It's like I try to take that and show them like, oh, I found this works for this, yada yada, so that they can improve what they did that they weren't doing as well. So I
yeah,
don't know. It's just like, even if it's competition, it ends up being like me helping the other person at the end of the day anyway,
yeah.
which is, I think, a good thing.
Mm.
That's another thing I forgot to mention is a lot of like the section of the scene that we're in, kind of like they don't like competition almost. That's kind of the attitude I've seen from a lot of people, where it's like they see competition as in like, oh, I'm trying to like outshine you, or like how do I say it? Like, make you feel like you're not valid, like what you're doing is not
Like an
valid.
ego thing.
Yeah, it's like an ego thing, yeah. But it really isn't, because
Yeah,
competition is just competition. It's like, oh, like
I
it's
feel
like
like
like when you do beat challenges and you have a hour on the timer to make whatever the fuck, like that's friendly competition. So it's
Hmm.
like we're just doing that without having it labeled as like a challenge for like a
Yeah.
group of people. It should just be like that, just in general.
yeah, I feel like
And
just in general, like the entire scene as a whole, like when you're making music, you should not be thinking like, oh, like they're like you shouldn't be like upset when somebody is like doing something the same way you're doing. You should actually like, I'd say to like utilize the fact that like you have, like in this case like a rival, and you
Yeah.
want to it's like it can even be someone that like you don't even know personally. Just try to make like your next like the next thing you put out better than like what they put out last time, right? And then just try to
Yeah,
build off that,
a
right?
lot of people forget that. Even though we try to make this as much of a, like a equal community to everyone as possible, it's still an industry on the grander scheme of things.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, your little micro scene with your little tiny friend group doesn't mean fuck all in the grand scheme of things. My friend group on the grander scheme of things doesn't mean fuck all. The only difference is between the people that, just leave it like that, and the people that want to change it for themselves, so that they become, a part of the grander scheme of things, as opposed to just boxing themselves into this one friend group.
Mm.
A
Mhm.
lot of people don't really think about it that way either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess on that note, we're like starting to run out of time here. So, fucking,
Fucking,
huh?
I said fucking hell.
Yeah,
Did
we've
not
already,
feel like, how long has it been? Like an hour?
yeah,
An
like an
hour.
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Fucking hell.
Just
You were right. That was a very existential conversation. Holy shit.
yeah, we
I
just kind
feel
of
like I
went
hope it
on.
gives a lot of people inspiration, though.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I hope it doesn't like make people angry that they just listen.
More lighthearted shit.
Yeah,
I,
just finish off the
we've
episode with some
been
good.
going off.
Uh,
What was that?
I said finish off the episode with something, something nice.
Bro,
Uh,
what's y'all's, okay, what's y'all's Wendy's order?
Baconator.
J- just a baconator.
Baconator, large fry, Coke with a chocolate frosty, and I
God,
dip the fucking fries in the frosty.
Oh, you're one of those people,
yeah, you're one of
bro.
those. He's one of those people. Fucking,
You know what? Honestly, valid.
I
Honestly,
haven't been to a Wendy's in fucking ages. Cause like
it's literally it's
yeah,
literally S tier fast food.
the
It
Like,
is.
nearest Wendy's
it's
to
S tier
me.
fast food. You can't go wrong with like anything on the fucking menu. It's like you go to Wendy's, anything you might want it's gonna be gas regardless.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go somewhere else, it's not gonna be as gas. Wendy's just hit different, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Consistently
Yeah.
gas.
The
Yeah,
fucking
consistently gas too.
It's
Yeah.
the
like Five
problem
Guys.
is like the
Consistently
nearest Wendy's to me is like 5 miles away, and in LA time that's like an hour. So
Oh fuck that.
it's
I have one
fucking
walking
good.
distance from me, so I can just walk 10 minutes,
That's
go to a Wendy's,
vibes.
and pick up a Baconator. It's
I
fine.
will go to like In and Out though, because we have that here. Because
I live in
Bro,
you guys
In
don't
and
have
Out,
that in your.
bro. I went to San Diego and went to an In and Out because I was like, oh damn, I just realized I'm in California. I got to go to an In and Out. I went twice because I just got a regular burger and fries, and I was like, they've been hyping this up to me for like a year. The fuck kind of shit is this? So I went a second time, got it all animal style. I'm like, yo, I see where they're coming from now. God damn.
Yeah, it's 100% like the secret menu. That's like the where it's at. Fucking yeah. I'll go to like fucking In and Out or whatever. There's not a lot of like fast food. Like the nearest fast food like near the I guess near like to me is fucking like a Carl's Jr. down the street, which isn't like
It's not bad, but it's not.
yeah,
not
it's
terrible.
like there's only like one item on the menu that I'm like, okay, you know what, this is fine, and that's like the Western burger, which is it's like
That one's fire.
you can't
That
really
was
fuck
fire.
up a barbecue like bacon burger type shit.
Yeah.
You can't really fuck that up.
Yeah.
If you fuck
If
that
you
up, I don't know.
yeah, it's like a pepperoni pizza. If you fuck that up,
Yeah, there's not really anything wrong with that. So
yeah, exactly. I had a Carl's Jr. in my city, and it closed down.
Yeah.
Bro, like I was dead at like this is how hard Canada sleeps on like American fast food. Is I went into that fucking Carl's Jr. and we were there. It was my entire family. We went there, and fucking inside the restaurant there were like two workers having just a random conversation, and we were there for like 45 minutes just sitting, chilling, eating, whatever. And I'm sitting there like, damn, it's really like this empty. We were the only ones in the Carl's Jr. for a straight hour. And I'm sitting there like, damn, I can feel this like not staying here. Like I can feel this facility not staying here for a very long time. And then like 2 months later, it closed down. I'm like, damn, it's the last time I'm having Carl's Jr. for a while. Fucking hell.
yeah, man,
It was a very sad, very, very sad time.
shit's weird like that.
Going to the Carl's Jr. and then like 2 months later it closes down. It's like, damn.
Dude, going around like in LA, there's a lot of places that you'll see, and then you're like, how is this still in business? Like, how is this still
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
There's-
but then
there's,
again,
like-
LA is giant, so
Yeah,
It- that makes sense.
but I mean, like, I went into a Cold Stone the other day, and I'm like, I don't even remember the last time I saw a Cold Stone. But then I was like, I don't even remember the last time I saw somebody walk into this Cold Stone. I don't even remember the last time I've seen them have a customer.
I don't remember the last time I've been to a Cold Stone.
Same.
Cold Stones are wild.
Oh, y'all don't have Tim Hortons though. Y'all sleeping on Tim Hortons for real.
I
Yeah.
wish I want to try Timmy's. At some
Timmy's
point.
is so gas, dude.
I tried
like-
it once when I was in Montreal, but that was like the only experience I had with it.
What'd you get? Do you remember?
Fuck, I don't know. I just like got because it was like my sister that went, and I just shared something that she got. No idea what
That's
it was.
It's like it's literally just breakfast and lunch. Like it's like every breakfast and lunch spot you can like think of, but like put into one, and it's fast food and it's fire. It's fire
That's
as
a
fuck.
vibe.
You got like wraps and donuts, muffins, coffee, fucking lemonade and shit. Like frozen chai. They got frozen chai in that bitch. Fucking, they got fries in that bitch. It's like literally anything you can, any basic breakfast item you can think of, it's there.
All right.
So I always go to Tim Hortons. It's like, damn, I don't know what to eat. Tim Hortons
Should
ain't
we
never
leave-
gonna go wrong.
Should we leave the episode on that note of like
Yes.
Tim Hortons is a vibe?
Yeah, go to Tim Hortons if you're trying to vibe,
Well,
and we'll
then-
leave it on that note.
we'll leave this episode on that note. So I guess Lizdek, do you have any other like any last words you want to say? Any advice?
Any things you got going on? Any releases? Anything to show?
Anything to shout out?
I don't want to sound like a condescending prick, but y'all are not ready. Fucking. When is this going up? Do you know?
Probably like wait, how many are coming out after? So probably like in 3 weeks.
All right. Well, I won't be back by then. I'm still on a social media break, but just know, come sometime just before the summer, y'all are gonna hear some of the best music I've made ever, for sure.
Okay. All right. Rad. You wanna go ahead and shout everything out that of yours,
Hell yeah.
all your socials and shit.
Um, at Lizdek Music on Instagram and Twitter, SoundCloud.com/Lizdek. Um, Shout out to my label Equity Collective as well. We just put out a release at this point. It's March 19th. We just released a song called Marionette by Snowkey. Super underrated artist. I would suggest you go check that out. I think by the time this comes out, we're gonna have another release out already. I'm not sure which one it is yet because we had to switch our schedule around. But um, shout out to Snowkey. Shout out to all the homies. Shout out to Bendel, Etler, Joss Lockwood, Darby Faden, Hex Cougar, Ian Monroe, Nazar. Fuck, I'm forgetting a bunch of names. Fuck.
Mr. and Mrs. Lizdek.
Shout out to my parents. Shout out to my parents, Mr. and Mrs. Lizdek. Fire. Shout out to my sister. Shout out to my sister. She's fire. Fuck. Shout out Not You. Shout out In Extremis. The label that helped put me on back in like 2019. Shout out to them. Y'all are fucking goated. And shout out to Indigo and Taps for having me here.
Hey, thanks,
Hell,
man.
Our
I'll take
pleasure.
that.
Hell yeah.
Rad.
And that is all. This is ow fuck. Ow. Ow.
Oh my god.
Holy fuck.
For
Ow.
those who are listening on audio, Lizdek just hit himself in the eyeball with his hoodie strap.
Fuck this shit, dude. Ow. God damn it.
That's a
Oh
pretty,
my god.
that's a
Perfect
pretty
way to
solid
end.
way, pretty
Yay.
solid way to end.
Yay, injuries. Woo.
Yeah.
Let's end it on injuries.
Okay.
Woo.
But for everybody listening, please go ahead, check Lizdek out on like all of his socials and whatnot. You could check us out too. All of our stuff will be down in the description. Everything for the podcast will be there. Check out previous episodes. We just like put one out with wait, who was before this? Wait, who did we record with before this?
Zavi.
Vari. We recorded
Oh.
with Vari before this. So Vari
Yeah.
should have just come out as well.
Yeah.
So okay. Anyway, yeah, check Lizdek out. Go show him support. And on that note, yeah, we'll see you all in the next episode.
Skoo!